Mr. President, on another matter, last week in his State of the Union address, President Biden bragged that he's taking, quote, the most significant action on climate ever in the history of the world. What he failed to mention is that his radical climate policy almost always comes at the expense of American workers and job creators. Just recently, the Biden administration rolled out yet another job-killing mandate that would impose more unilateral economic pain here at home. This one goes well beyond the regulatory standards of most of our European allies, let alone our top strategic competitor, China. The EPA wants to tighten limits on fine particulates in the air, known as PM2.5, despite its own data showing that concentrations have actually gone down over 40% in the last 2 decades. The vast majority of these emissions come from sources like wildfires and dust from agriculture and roads that are not easily contained and in some cases impossible to control. We're talking about a climate boogeyman conjured out of smoke and dust. The EPA's new standard is so strict that when it takes effect, 30% of U.S. counties, including many in my home state, would immediately find themselves out of compliance, grounding manufacturing growth to a halt. Meanwhile, the job of actually implementing the EPA's new mandate will fall to those states who are forced to inherit all the costs of this bad policy, from offshoring manufacturing jobs to greater reliance on China to higher prices when Americans can least afford it. In order to keep up with President Biden's new mandate, American manufacturers would be forced to import raw materials like concrete and steel for virtually any construction project, the kind of projects that grow our economy and support good-paying jobs. In other words, the Biden administration is saying in no uncertain terms that they're willing to make our economy more dependent on foreign supply chains just to appease the green activists in this country. So it's no surprise that state leaders are pushing back on this ruling. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman is leading a lawsuit with West Virginia to challenge the EPA's mandate, and so far, nearly half of our states have signed on. Unlike the Biden administration, local and state leaders understand just how damaging this new rule would be for workers and for job creators back home. So today, I'm happy to announce that Senate Republicans stand ready to do our part. Today, I'm introducing a resolution under the Congressional Review Act that would prevent the EPA from plowing ahead with this senseless regulatory overkill. I'm thankful to more than 40 colleagues who've joined my resolutions so far as co-sponsors. Senate Republicans will continue to stand with American workers and job creators, especially when the Biden administration tries to make their work so much harder.